There's something brewing in Los Angeles, and it's got Andrew Wiggins' name all over it. 4 weeks now, rumors have been swirling about a potential trade that would send Wiggins from Golden State to the Lakers. And while at first it sounded like your usual off-season speculation, this thing is starting to gain serious traction. Anyone paying close attention could have seen it coming. It's the classic pre-training camp scenario. A high-profile player, a team trying to stay in contention, and a front office looking to make a splash at the right time. You've seen this play out before, but this time, it might actually go somewhere. It all started when the Lakers locked up Luka Doncic. That move alone shifted the entire tone of the franchise. Suddenly, Rob Pelinka and the front office weren't just thinking about building for the future. They were all in on now. That changed the stakes entirely. And with LeBron James still chasing rings and Luka locked in long-term, there's a real sense of urgency in the building. The message from the top has been loud and clear. It's championship or bust. So, where does Wiggins fit into all this? The idea is pretty straightforward. The Lakers believe they're just one or two pieces away from being legitimate title contenders. And Wiggins, with his playoff experience, two-way skill set, and ability to slide into multiple roles, checks a lot of boxes. On paper, he's the kind of wing the Lakers have desperately needed, someone who can defend the best perimeter players on the other side and still give you offense without needing the ball in his hands all the time. That's exactly the kind of player who thrives next to ball-dominant stars like LeBron and Luka. But here's where things get tricky. Wiggins isn't exactly cheap. He's still owed serious money, and the Warriors aren't going to let him go for peanuts. That's been the holdup so far. Early in the offseason, the asking price was just too high for LA's taste. Now that we're inching closer to the start of camp, the situation might be changing. That's often when teams start to blink, when front offices realize that holding out for the perfect deal might leave them stuck with a player they don't want or can't maximize. And look, nobody's saying Wiggins is the missing piece that automatically puts a banner in the rafters. That's part of the debate happening behind closed doors in LA right now. How much better does Wiggins really make this team? Is he the move, or just a move? Because if the Lakers truly believe he's the final piece to the puzzle, the guy who takes them from very good to unbeatable, then there shouldn't be any hesitation. You push the chips in, make the deal, and go chase that trophy. But if there's even a little doubt, then patience becomes the smarter play. Because giving up Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, draft capital, and possibly even Gabe Vincent in a single move for Wiggins starts to feel like an overpay, especially if it means limiting your ability to make other deals down the road. You burn through your assets now, and you've got nothing left when another opportunity pops up mid-season. That's the kind of miscalculation that can come back to haunt a front office. This is the balance the Lakers are trying to strike right now. Be aggressive, but not desperate. Stay in the driver's seat, but don't take your hands off the wheel. There's a world where Wiggins makes this roster significantly better, and maybe he even replaces Rui in the starting five. But there's also a world where you give up too much to get him, and now your depth is shot, your flexibility is gone, and you're left scrambling when injuries hit or chemistry doesn't click. And let's not forget the wild card here, the what-ifs. Every team has them. That's the nature of the NBA. You never really know how a new roster will mesh until the games start counting. What if Jared Vanderbilt bounces back? What if Rui takes a leap? What if one of the young guys steps up and fills that Wiggins-type role without costing you anything? These are valid questions the Lakers have to consider. Because sometimes the answer isn't out there, it's already on your roster. That doesn't mean you sit back and do nothing. But it does mean you weigh all your options before making a move just because the media is pushing the narrative. And right now, that narrative is all about Wiggins. He's been dominating the Lakers' rumor mill for weeks. But is that just noise? Or is there something real behind all of it? Because we've seen the Lakers play this game before. Focus the attention on one player while quietly working on something completely different in the background. Think back to some of the deals they've pulled off in recent years. The D'Angelo Russell trade, for example. Most people thought it was going to be Mike Conley. Then, out of nowhere, they landed D'Lo and Vanderbilt. Totally flipped the script. Same with Rui. That trade came out of nowhere. No leaks, no buzz, just boom, done. And now we're in a situation where all the buzz is on Wiggins. But don't be surprised if another name comes flying out of left field. Someone like Miles Bridges or even R.J. Barrett. Younger wings with upside who might cost less and offer more long-term value. Or maybe it's a package deal, like Matisse Thybulle and Robert Williams. Defensive-minded guys who could help this team without breaking the bank. The Lakers have options, and that's what makes this situation so fascinating. They're not boxed in. They have the flexibility, the assets, and the star power to go in a few different directions. That's why this Wiggins situation might not be about Wiggins at all. It could be about leverage. Creating buzz around Wiggins increases the pressure on other teams to act. If Portland wants to move Williams and Thybulle, and the Lakers are like, well, we could just use this same package to get Wiggins, that changes the negotiation. Suddenly, LA has more bargaining power. They can say, look, we're not desperate. We got other options. And from the Warriors' perspective, that matters too. Trading Wiggins isn't just about getting back assets. It's about clearing salary, reshaping the roster, and setting up future flexibility. That limits the number of teams who can even be involved. The Lakers are one of the few that check all the boxes. They have expiring deals, they have young players, and Wiggins reportedly wouldn't mind playing in LA. That gives the Lakers even more leverage. But here's the real chess move. What if the Lakers are using all this Wiggins talk to distract from their actual plan? What if Rob Pelinka is working the phones behind the scenes, lining up a deal that nobody sees coming? The Lakers have done it before, and they could do it again. Because in the NBA, the best moves are often the ones no one expects. Keep your eyes on the noise, and you miss what's happening in the shadows. And right now, all the noise is pointing to Wiggins, which might be exactly what they want. And as the noise grows louder around Andrew Wiggins, the real question becomes, what exactly are the Lakers trying to achieve with this flurry of speculation? On one hand, it's obvious. They want to get better. They know the clock is ticking. LeBron isn't getting any younger, and with Luka Doncic locked in, the window is wide open, but not forever. You got a superstar duo, and in today's league, that only gets you so far. Depth, versatility, and reliable two-way players are the glue that turns contenders into champions. Wiggins fits that mold. He's battle-tested, he's won at the highest level, and when he's locked in, he's a legitimate two-way threat. But again, it all comes down to cost, not just in assets, but in opportunity. See, if the Lakers throw everything they have at Golden State right now, Rui, Dalton Connect, a future first-round pick, maybe even more, and it doesn't work, there's no coming back from that. They won't have the resources to pivot later. That's why every potential move right now has to be viewed not just as a trade, but as the trade. The move that either makes or breaks the season. That's a lot of pressure to put on one player, even if that player is Andrew Wiggins. And you can't ignore the bigger picture either. While all eyes are on the Warriors and Lakers talking about this deal, there's a whole league out there filled with teams watching, waiting, and maybe even quietly making offers of their own. That's why Rob Pelinka has to play this perfectly. He can't afford to look desperate. If other front offices sense blood in the water, they'll raise the price or pull back completely. Timing and leverage are everything. And the truth is, Wiggins isn't the only viable upgrade out there. He's just the most talked about. It's also worth thinking about how Wiggins would fit culturally and systemically with this current Lakers roster. When he was at his best in Golden State, he thrived in a role where the expectations were clear and he had stars around him to shoulder the spotlight. He didn't have to be the guy, just a guy. That's exactly the kind of structure the Lakers could replicate. With LeBron and Luka drawing all the attention, Wiggins would get the space to do what he does best: defend, cut, hit open shots, and disrupt opposing wings. That sounds like a perfect fit on paper, but fit doesn't guarantee impact. And the Lakers have been down this road before with players who looked ideal on paper and never found their rhythm in purple and gold. On the flip side, if you wait too long, the price might go up. If another team jumps in, maybe a contender looking for one last piece, the Lakers could lose out entirely. And once that happens, the front office has to answer some tough questions. Because passing on Wiggins now could look smart or foolish, depending on what happens next. If he goes elsewhere and thrives, fans will be screaming about how they missed their shot. If he fizzles or the trade market opens up with better options, Pelinka looks like a genius. That's the gamble. But this is where things get interesting, because this whole Wiggins situation could be a smokescreen, a strategic distraction. What if the real target isn't Wiggins at all? What if the Lakers are simply using his name, his buzz, his connection to the team, to leverage better deals elsewhere? Think about it. If other teams believe the Lakers are all in on Wiggins, they might feel pressure to lower their asking prices or rush into negotiations just to stay in the mix. It's a power move. Flood the media with one narrative while operating under another. That tactic has worked before. Think about how the Utah deal came together. Everyone thought it was going one way, and then the Lakers flipped it at the last second and walked away with D'Lo and Vanderbilt. Completely different from what was being reported. Same with the Rui trade. No leaks, no buildup, just boom. Done. That's how the Lakers front office likes to operate when they're serious. So, if the Wiggins buzz is too loud, maybe that's the first sign it's not actually happening. Real deals usually don't get this much play in the headlines unless there's something else going on behind the scenes. That's where names like Miles Bridges, R.J. Barrett, or even packages like Robert Williams and Matisse Thybulle start to look more realistic. Bridges, despite the off-court baggage, is still a young, athletic forward who can score in bunches and defend. Barrett hasn't quite lived up to expectations in New York, but in a new environment with reduced pressure, he might flourish. And a package of Thybulle and Williams adds much-needed defense and energy without blowing up the core or giving away too many assets. These are the types of moves that could fly under the radar and end up making a bigger impact than a headline-grabbing Wiggins deal. The Lakers are also dealing with another layer of complexity. The fact that any trade they make now has to factor in not just the present season, but what happens next summer. They're projected to have 3 first-round picks available. That's huge. It opens the door for bigger swings down the line. But if they burn one of those picks now, they better be sure that Wiggins is worth it. Because if it doesn't lead to a deep playoff run or a championship, it's a wasted opportunity. So, the decision-making process has to be airtight. You can't just trade for the sake of trading. It has to be the right player at the right price at the right time. Another angle to consider is how Wiggins himself feels about all this. Trades aren't just about contracts and stats. They're about people. If Wiggins doesn't want to be in LA or isn't motivated to play a big role, that's a red flag. On the other hand, if he sees this as a chance to reset, play for a contender, and remind everyone what he's capable of, that could unlock a whole new level of performance. But again, that's a gamble. There's no guarantee either way. What we do know is that Wiggins hasn't been his best self lately. He's shown flashes, but consistency has been an issue. That could be due to personal reasons, health, or simply a bad fit in Golden State's current system. Maybe LA is the change he needs. Maybe being back in a more structured role with less pressure could reignite his game. But it's all speculation until he steps on the court. And that's what makes this whole situation so difficult to judge. No one really knows, not the fans, not the analysts, and maybe not even the front offices involved. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, whispers are circulating across Los Angeles sports circles, and the latest rumor is causing quite a stir among Lakers fans. Scott Brooks, the seasoned NBA coach known for his stints with the Oklahoma City Thunder and Washington Wizards, might be the next head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Sources close to the situation suggest that discussions are in very early stages, but the mere possibility has ignited excitement and speculation about what Brooks could bring to a franchise hungry for stability and championship contention. Brooks, who has long been praised for his ability to develop young talent and maximize the potential of star players, seems like a fitting candidate for a Lakers team looking to find a new identity. His reputation as a player's coach, someone who balances tactical discipline with personal connection, aligns with the kind of leadership many believe the Lakers need after seasons of inconsistent performance. While no official announcements have been made, insiders hint that the Lakers front office has been quietly exploring Brooks' availability, considering his experience in guiding teams deep into the playoffs and nurturing future All-Stars. Fans have taken social media to voice their hopes and concerns. Some point to Brooks' tenure in Washington, where he led the Wizards to multiple playoff appearances as proof of his strategic acumen. Others remain skeptical, noting that the Lakers' high-profile roster, which includes generational talents, might present challenges unlike any Brooks has faced before. Still, the buzz continues to grow, with analysts speculating how Brooks' coaching philosophy, emphasizing pace, ball movement, and defensive discipline, could reshape the Lakers' style of play. If the rumor holds any truth, the Lakers could be on the verge of a bold new chapter. Conversations inside the locker room reportedly remain confidential, but one thing is clear. The idea of Scott Brooks at the helm has captured imaginations. Will he embrace the challenge of one of the league's most scrutinized coaching positions, or is this just another tantalizing story in the whirlwind world of NBA coaching rumors? Only time will tell, but for now, Lakers fans are holding their breath, ready for the next move in what could be a transformative coaching decision. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.